Welcome back to the Fit Dad Club podcast. My name is Travis Jones for another week, another episode to help you become the best version of yourself as a dad. I hope you're all doing good out there today. And Jason, how are you?
I'm doing well, man. I'm back into a little bit of a routine with training. Still, very short sessions and just kind of sneaking off where I can. But otherwise, I just did a quick leg session, did some cyclist goblet squats. We're a big fan of those. Get the real stretch in the quads, and then a couple of little back rehab things. But otherwise, yeah, doing good, man. How are you? How's the training for Hyrox?
Yeah, it's going pretty good, man. I'm training pretty well. My calves are getting a little bit better. I had a bit of a calf pull, so I've been running fast, but I'm getting the kilometers in, which is the main thing. Now, it was my cousin's 40th on Saturday, and I don't drink. Most people that listen to that, I don't drink much, but I'm kind of like an all-or-nothing person. I probably drink once every 2 or 3 years, and I did drink on Saturday, and it totally rocked me for like 2 days because it's like I'll drink a bottle of vodka. Good work. Thanks, liver. But I definitely now won't drink for the next like 2 or 3 years. I just don't feel good afterwards, and it doesn't really change who I am in the moment either. I just drink and I do it to, sometimes she's like, oh, have a drink with me. And it's not peer pressure. I don't know. Just did. I chose to do it, and I just will not choose to do it again. I just don't like it.
You accepted the consequence. But I had actually had my cousin's wedding on the weekend. It feels so far away because of the weekend. But just getting a babysitter for 2 young kids is, it's sometimes I'm the kind of dad. I was like, I like to be home. I don't like him. Oh, she's sad about things. I'm a bit too much of a helicopter dad sometimes. But the same sort of thing. Started getting a bit tipsy, but then it's like once I hit that point, I often just like forget to drink. And because all it took was one bartender to give me like an extra pour of like a vodka soda, and I was like, this is like vodka with a little splash of soda. I was like, God, I don't feel like I want anything else after this, because it was a bit of a cold night, and so it wasn't like I could just sink back a bunch of beers and have that be the thing. But yeah, I'm able to sort of in those circumstances hit probably like 7-8 o'clock and just go, I really just don't feel like drinking anymore. Yeah. And then by the end of the night, like most of the times I'm like, fuck, I could have driven. Like I honestly could have, because by the end of it, I'm like, I had maybe 6 or 7 drinks and then 3 hours of absolutely nothing. And then I'm like, I'm good. I usually let myself tear up the dance floor for my cardio, and then I'm good. So I've got a little bit more of that balance in me, but I still definitely don't drink that much. It's not a good feeling.
I think it's just, to understand your personality. And I am that personality. So it's like I am with some things. I talk to my clients about like, I'm an all or nothing, right? So like if I drink, I'm all in. And the bartender, because it was down at a place that we know, and we're in a rural town, guys. So it was like, oh yeah, I'll just drink vodka. I'll just drink straight vodka. And he was literally pouring me glasses of vodka. And I was like, man, this is going downhill fast. So it was all right. Stayed till 2, went to bed, woke up, still tried to train, but I think that's the biggest thing. And I think when we look at this, probably not my best training sessions, but I still trained and got on with it, because same as today's episode, is discipline over feelings, right? I think that's the biggest thing we have to understand. And that's the real father or dad power move. If we're trying to become that fit dad, it is always going to be discipline over feelings. Like if you only trained when you feel like it, if you only ate clean when it's convenient, if you only showed up when life was easy, you'd be stuck. You'd still be tired. You'd still be carrying that gut, because every dad says they want to get fit, right? And they want to lose weight. They want to have more energy. They want to be a better role model, but then they act in the complete opposite direction of that every single day. Now, here's the truth. Motivation is unreliable. Feelings are definitely soft a lot of the time, but discipline, that's what builds a strong, fit dad. It's the version of you that your kids need to see. The one with energy, right? The one with confidence, the one with presence. And he's not built by emotions of doing the things when he feels like doing them. He's built by execution. And I think this is the crux of the podcast today. And the first thing I really want to talk about is why waiting to feel motivated keeps you fat, tired, and stuck. And I think that is probably one of the biggest things. People go, I'm just not motivated at the moment. I just have to wait. It's like, motivation's a mood, guys. Discipline is a decision, okay? So you're deciding to do the work. If you're relying on, I just got to feel like it, you've already lost the battle. So motivation's like the weather. Some days it's hot, some days it's cold, some days it's sunny, some days it's raining. It's the same as your training. Some days, when it's sunny, cool, you're keen to train. If it's raining, you'd rather stay in bed. But if you only show up when it's sunny, you'll never transform your body. Discipline's what gets you out the door regardless. Doesn't matter how you feel. It doesn't matter about the hype. It's a habit. You stack the habits and you get it done. And I think, are you waiting for motivation? Are you training only when the mood is right or when the your horoscope aligns with your stars or whatever the hell it is? Or are you just getting after it? I don't know. What do you reckon, Jace?
I mean, I think that it is such an important thing for guys to realize, right? And I think it's what most guys don't. And it's why guys go out looking for motivation, listening to David Goggins for that little. It is the little band-aid, right? It's the little hit of dopamine of, oh yeah, I feel motivated to go and do it now. But as Trav said, like you've got, especially in Tassie, you've got like 1 month of the year where you have summer, right? You've got sun for 1 month. If you didn't feel like training, Trav would be a fucking fat blubbering mess because he's got 11 months of nothing.
Cold
right?
and
11
rain.
months of cold, freezing, still running. He's got to run shirtless to keep himself, warmed up enough, right? But look, if I had those pecs, I'd run shirtless too. But it is such a fundamental thing that motivation gets you nowhere without discipline, right? There's Zig Ziglar once said, motivation's like bathing. We recommend it daily. Like you need a fresh injection of it every single day until it becomes who you are, until it becomes more part of your being. Motivation is a great like Kickstarter, and it's good to go, all right, cool, I'm feeling motivated. But I think one thing, especially speaking to a lot of guys recently, you've got to fucking strike while the iron's hot. Like your momentum is heading in one direction at the moment. And I even had this today. I was sitting down, I was getting some work done, I was editing some videos, and I was like I could just stay because I've got my own private little office now. So I'm shut off from the world. I'm like, I could just keep going at this. And I was like, just like 50 minutes to the podcast, 40 minutes to the podcast. And I was like, fuck, I got to train before the podcast. Otherwise I probably won't do it because then afterwards I'll be editing the podcast and putting it up and stuff. So I was like, all right, I'm going to go to the gym now. I'm going to go and just I'm not going to try and plan anything too crazy. I'm just going to do some simple stuff that I know works and get it done. And it was the discipline for me to get out of the chair that I was sitting in where I was already in momentum doing something to then go and do something different. But it took a little bit even for me. I'm still obviously getting back into building up that routine, but I wasn't putting the pressure on to go, fuck, I've got to do, an hour long workout of 5 sets of 10 back squats to failure. Like I wasn't going to put myself through that sort of stuff, but you need to focus on where's your momentum and you need to strike while the iron's hot. A lot of guys are like, oh yeah, like I'll think about getting started and I'll do this. I'm like, you've already lost the game once you get in that spot, because if you have enough momentum to do one thing about it, you then need to do the next thing and the next thing and the next thing to keep moving yourself in the right direction. And that doesn't come from motivation. Motivation helps you take that first step, but then you've got to be disciplined enough to go, no, I've got to follow through with this. And sometimes that means putting something on the line as well, right? For a lot of guys who hire a coach, it's financially putting something on the line. For other people, it's, the social aspect. I told people I'm going to start something, I'm going to lose this weight. I don't want to look like a dickhead, so I'm going to do it. And that's kind of, that is what gets you started, but the discipline is what actually keeps you having the result further on.
Yeah, man. Like your body doesn't care if you're tired. Fat loss happens when you do the work anyway. I think, people are like, oh no, I'm going to wait for motivation. It's like, well, you don't burn calories based on how motivated you are. You burn them by moving your ass. Like if you're always waiting for the energy to magically appear before you train, like you're going to be stuck forever. And the truth is, energy is created by action, guys. So movement or motion creates emotion, so positive emotion. And a lack of motion creates negative motion. So you're not going to want to move. So we need to just start moving, and you'll start to get that momentum after that. So you start the session tired, you finish with the momentum. And most dads, they stay stuck because they only take action when the conditions are perfect. Conditions are never perfect. Perfect does not exist. Kids will get sick, work will run late, you're going to feel flat. If you're only doing the work when it fits neatly into your calendar, you're not committed, okay? You're just convenient. That's what you are. And real transformation, it happens when you show up on days where you shouldn't have shown up, right? It's like, I've got 30 minutes before the podcast, I'm going to get it done. I've got sick kids, I didn't sleep well, it doesn't matter. I do the work because it's who I am. And I think we're always waiting to execute the perfect session instead of just doing the session that's in front of us right now. And I think that is the big difference, because if you're only training when you're excited, you're never going to get consistent enough to get results, right? We come on this week in and week out, right? It's like, It's imperfect action beats perfect inaction. Like, this is a weekly theme that we keep recurring on. We just have to keep taking action no matter what, because the guy who trains when he's feeling it is going to get beaten by the guy who trains when he's not feeling it every day of the week, right? Because that guy just keeps showing up. Repetition beats intensity, okay? Discipline gives you consistency. Consistency gives you results. You know, excitement fades. Systems are the things that win. I think we just have to push through as much discomfort as we possibly can, and it is going to be hard at first. You don't have the habits. You don't have the momentum. That's why we always start small, guys. We start small and we build up to harder tasks. And if we start so small, it seems easy to accomplish. We're starting to stack the votes inside who we are. And I think, you know, that's what we wanted to move into next. It's like really just stacking votes inside our identity and building that self-respect, mate.
Every time we do that, and we've talked about this time and time again, but a lot of these points bear repeating. Every time you do what you said you were going to do, that's a vote of confidence in your self-esteem, a vote of confidence in your discipline, a vote of confidence in you, that you can then go, all right, I look in the mirror, and even if I haven't got the abs yet, I am the kind of guy who's capable of achieving them because I did the thing I said I was going to do, right? I followed through on what I said. And this kind of congruence, it leads through to our kids. And this is ultimately like, no one listening to this podcast has the sole goal of being fit just for themselves, right? So I want to get shredded because I want to have fucking abs and look good on the beach naked and whatever, right? Like, that's not the sole reason. Now, that might be part of the reason for some people, and it's okay if it's like there's a vanity reason why you're doing this. A lot of guys feel a bit weird when they talk about, oh, it's maybe a bit vain, but I want to look good. It's like, fuck yeah, you want to look good. Like, you don't dress like a slob every single day. Like, you want to wear clothes that feel good. You want to have a body that looks nice. You want to not have, you know, big double chins and, you know, a belly that hangs down over your belt. Like, you don't want, no one that I know wants those things. So don't be ashamed of wanting something for the sake of vanity, for the sake of looking good, because when you look good, you feel good. When you take pride in your appearance, when you take pride in who you are, and you get there from taking those actions. You get there from, like, someone with abs isn't necessarily better than anyone else, but they are, you know, on average going to be more disciplined than most people. And that's where that is a reflection of. You can look in the mirror and go, hey, this is a reflection of my internal world, right? Your external world is a reflection of your internal world. Your internal world is full of discipline. It's full of follow through. It's full of doing the things that you said you were going to do. And your kids notice that. Your kids notice when you do something consistently time and time and time again over the course of, you know, 6 months. They're like, oh, this is just what dad does. Dad goes for a run. Dad does this. Dad does that. So the more you do what you said you were going to do, that is, you know, turning you into the man that you respect more. You respect yourself. You respect your own word more. Your kids respect your word more, especially if you vocalize it. You know, motivation doesn't change anything from that internal perspective, because motivation's external. It's extrinsic, right? The true internal motivation is discipline, right? That's the thing. That I'm doing this because I said I was going to do it, and it'll lead me to the result that I actually want. So the more you say you're going to train and then you skip it, you lose a workout, but you also lose your self-belief. You lose that sort of, that connection to yourself of, you can trust what you tell yourself you're going to do. I'm going to get up early every single fucking time. And this is why we say, don't set yourself tasks that you know you're not going to follow through on. Don't set yourself, I'm going to get up at 5 a.m. and train, when right now you're getting up at 7 a.m. right? Or, you know, let's say, don't say you're going to get up at 3 a.m. when you've got to get up at 4 a.m. for work. It's just like, fuck, it's unrealistic, and you're just going to eat into yourself. Give yourself manageable first steps that you can actually start to hit that will move you forward, right? Have a plan that is, that is realistic for you to implement, rather than this big long shot. And yeah, what were you going to say, Trav?
Yeah, no, it's just like that. You know, most people go, yeah, I want to look better in front of the mirror so I feel more confident. And yeah, you might feel more confident, but like, the confidence is actually built when no one's watching, right? The confidence in yourself and in your word, it's built by doing the things, like going for the run when no one else is there. It's eating the meal by yourself and not eating the chocolate bar. It's in all the small little wins where you said, I'm going to do this, and you follow through when no one's watching. That builds the body that gives you confidence, but the actual confidence is done and built by all the small actions, right? It's like, you know, the whole thing is like, you find yourself in the journey, not the end result. And I think that's the true thing. Like, confidence is built in the journey on building the body that you actually want. And it's like, this link between like discipline and long-term confidence is so crucial. It's like, confidence isn't just a personality trait. It's like a byproduct of keeping these promises to ourselves. Like you weren't born lacking confidence. You know, you lost it the moment you started breaking your own word. Okay? Every time you said, I'm going to start on Monday, and you didn't. You chipped away at your own self-belief. Confidence comes from having that integrity with yourself. It's doing what you said you were going to do, even when no one's watching. And every time you train and every time you track your food and you go for a walk, and even though you don't want to, you reinforce the self-belief. You reinforce that identity. These aren't just tasks on a to-do list for you. They're votes in your new identity. The fit dad. And every choice you make when it's hard, it tells your brain, I'm the type of man who follows through. And that's what you say. We say it to ourselves, just like me, right? I do the workout just like me. I eat the food that's just like me. And we're stacking these votes long enough, and you wake up with this unshakable confidence or unfuckwithable confidence. And it's not because it's the number of the scale, but it's because of who you had become by doing the work. You earned the confidence. It means you don't negotiate with the lower self, right? We have a higher self and we have a lower self. You don't negotiate with the lower self, the one that tries to justify, the one that tries to blame, the one that tries to make excuses. We just block that lower self out, right? And it's like, he says, I'm going to skip today. It doesn't matter. It's okay. You've trained already this week. It's like, no, the higher self says, you got a standard, and we've got a standard to uphold. You know, discipline is your ability to lead yourself. And especially when that temptation hits, when the muffins are there or the chocolate's there or it's cold outside or it's raining, like most dads try and negotiate with their excuses. Disciplined dads silence that little bitch and they just go to work anyway and they act on it and they execute and they take action. And I think that's where we need to go with all of this.
You don't get the body and then feel confident about it. You feel confident and then you get the body. Right? It's like a lot of people are like, oh, once I have this, then I'll feel confident, then I'll feel happy. But the emotional side of it happens first. Like when you start being more confident in yourself, that is when you start showing up more. That is when you start taking ownership for your actions and doing all that stuff. As Trav's saying, arguing with your younger self, arguing with your lower self. I in my head, I'm like, it's like fucking arguing with your toddler, right?
Exactly.
Like they drag you down to their level and then they beat you with experience or volume, right? Like they just fucking scream louder. I'm trying to negotiate with Imi. I'm like, why am I negotiating with you? You're 2.5. Like, yes, you're very articulate for a 2.5-year-old, but you don't know why or what fuck is going on. This isn't argument. Like you're not having chips for breakfast. No. I don't need to tell you why. I'm going to tell you about trans fats and shit. Yeah. Right? It's going to have an insulin spike, then you're going to have an insulin crash, and you're going to feel really tired. She just wants fucking chips, right? But you don't have a conversation with that. You just move the chips out of sight and you close the door. They have the tantrum. You just go, no, all right, cool. They're having a tantrum about that. That's fine. Same thing with your lower self. But you could relax and you could have this, you could have that. And then you've just got to have an automatic response for yourself, which is like, is this the dad that I want to be? Is this the person that I want to be? Do I want to be the dad who takes the shortcuts, right? And that's kind of brings us into the next point, which is when we talk about showing up for a workout. When you show up for a workout, it's relating it to more than just, I'm just going to go work out, right? My biceps might get 1% bigger on this exercise. Oh, amazing, right? Cool. No one actually works out for that reason. What you're really doing is you're working out for your family and you're showing up and you're training for your family. It's the reason why a lot of people are doing this, because you're not just building muscle. You're not going into the gym, like I said, just to get 1% bigger on your biceps. So, first of all, you're getting better at carrying your kids around the zoo or the park or whatever when you have to carry them home. You're not going to get gassed. You're going to build capacity to run around with them. But you're also showing that you can do hard things. And this is a big theme that I've been trying to kind of instill into Imi lately, because she'll often be doing something like whether it's a puzzle or like a little toy where you've got to click two things together, and she'll get frustrated, and like throw it. And go, it's too hard. And I was like, and every time we get her to do it, it's like, cool, hey, Imi, you did it. You can do hard things, right? It's not that the thing all of a sudden became easy, but it's like, you can do hard things. And you're not only proving to your kids, but you're proving to yourself that you can do hard things. And you're showing yourself that, hey, I can. Remember those fucking partial squats that Jason had me doing down at the bottom range, and I was like, or the I remember Trav gave me this like superset one time of like lateral raises and rear delt raises and front raises, and it was just like my shoulders were absolutely fucked. And it's like that was hard. It was like, I can do hard things, right? Training for high rocks before I fucked my back. It was like there was hard stuff. Trav was giving me lots of runs, right? That was hard. But guess what? I did it, and I can do hard things, and it makes me go, cool. If I can do those things, I can build the patience to run for 10 kilometers without stopping, right? Just an hour straight of just fucking plod, listening to a podcast. I can do that. I can listen to my toddler tell a story that makes no sense. I can read the same book 15 times. It builds patience. It builds resilience. It builds better energy levels. It does a lot of things that has impacts, second, third, fourth order consequences beyond just getting fitter or getting stronger. Like, being someone who trains means you're willing to put yourself into a hard environment, do something hard, and that shows up in the rest of your life. It's not a selfish thing. Long term, it's the most selfless thing you can do. A lot of people say, I don't want to go to the gym. It's like, I could be spending time with my kids. How high quality is the time you're spending with them already? Can you run around with them? Can you really engage with them in the way they want to be engaged with? Like, I was chatting to one of the dads yesterday, who his son's turning 11 and he's getting into footy, and he wants to get into like the weight training side of things too. Like, they've got a half squat rack and they want to get into that. And it's like, awesome. That's a connection point that you could have with your son. You could have with your kid, no matter what age they are, for the next like 5-10 years, right? Like, I can't wait for, the day, they may not, but the day that Imi or Henry get up and they're like, Dad, you go for runs, I want to go for a run with you. Imi already fucking loves running. She could do a 5k, I reckon, in under half an hour, just with her little legs, just like she's a fucking Energizer bunny. The day Henry wants to come and lift weights with Dad, it's like, I want to be there for that, and I want to be in my groove for that, and I want to encourage that if that's what they want to do. If I don't do that, if I don't have that set, then that's like a connection point that I could miss out. Like, I fucking loved going to the gym when I was like 16, 17. There's like I was really new for me. I was lucky I got to go with my older brother, right? And that was a connection point for us. We would go to the gym, we'd read fucking starting strength and look at forums on what stuff to do and do all sorts of random shit, right? This is how many years ago now? Like, it's 16 years ago, something like that. Jesus Christ, that makes me sound old.
Yes.
But like, in doing that, I got that connection point with my brother. It's like, that would have been awesome if my dad wanted to come and do that with us too. Like, if we had that connection point too, that would build fostered even a stronger relationship. Like, you've got those things that, like, so I want this just to stop being about just like training or getting big Arnold Schwarzenegger muscles, because you're not fucking you're not taking HGH and steroids. You're not going to get that big anyway. But it's not about that. It's about so much more.
Yeah, I think like there's that point, right? You can't lead your kids to strength if you're living in weakness. I think that's one of the biggest things, right? Like, you neglect your health, your family gets the weaker version of you, and do they deserve the weaker version of you, or they deserve the best version of you? I think, that's what you have to understand. You want your kids to be strong. You want your kids to be confident. You want your kids to be energetic. You want your kids off their screen. But you can't lead your kids to this strength, because confidence is strength, if you're living in weakness. So I want you to like create a dad standard mindset, right? What would you want your son or daughter to copy from you today, right? Kids copy behavior, not words. And if you're making excuses, then they learn how to make excuses. Your kids aren't listening to what you say about discipline or effort or health. They're watching what you do, right? When you say, I don't have time to train, they hear, health isn't a priority in our family. When it's busy, we don't do it, okay? Every skipped workout, every excuse, every lazy choice, they absorb it all, and then they repeat it. That's how kids learn. So whether you like it or not, like, you're setting the bar for them. You're setting the standard for their life, for them, with your actions. And what would your son, what do you want them to do and treat their body? Would they want you treating the same way you are right now? Would you want them to go, 20 years from now, they're overweight, they're doing some crazy diet because they keep trying to lose the same 20 kilos, they have low energy, they have bad self-talk, they have poor habits, they're drinking to cope with their emotions, they are frustrated all the time. Like, would you be proud of them, or would you be worried for them? Like, seriously, like, would you be proud of them, or would you be worried for them? Would you step in and say, hey man, we've got something to do? And he looks at you and says, like, Dad, I learned this from you, right? I think that's the thing you have to answer. You're teaching your kids' future right now. And if the answer makes you uncomfortable, like, that is your wake-up call. Right now, the way you feel, train, and talk about your body becomes the template that they model. I don't want you to pass down self-neglect through the generations. We want to pass down strength, and we want to pass down self-respect through the generations. This is probably the most crucial part of this podcast. You have to pass down that. And if that part just made you uncomfortable, it's like, okay, maybe that is your light bulb moment. Something has to train. We want our sons or we want our daughters to treat their bodies with optimal health. So they feel energetic, they feel abundant, they have energy. You know, we want to create this normalization of health and that become that their default. We want to build them a blueprint that they want to follow. You know, they don't want to eat fast food 4 nights a week. Fast food is on a whim. And also it's healthy. We don't want to try and go, we craving, you know, we don't have time. Let's go eat Macca's. Okay. We don't want that. We're going to press snooze and we always sleep in. No, we get up and move in the morning. That's why we do our soccer drills with our boys in the morning because they want to do something. They want to get better. Okay. We want to get better at something. That's skill development. Let's work at it. We put in the time. We put in the work. And then they see when they play, they get better, right? You're teaching your kids skill acquisition. So it's not about you having abs and being the best version of you. It's you putting in the work, dedicating yourself to be the best version of you. And there is no end point. There is no finish line. And that's the same as your kids. That's what they learn. Dad does the work to be the best version of him. And they're proud that you do the work. Like, you might not think, oh, my son doesn't care if I train or if I just lay on the couch. They do care. 100% they care.
They see that shit.
They see it, man. And if you think they don't care, that's called denial, right? It is. Like, they care so much of how you act, on how you look, on how you carry yourself, and they will model it, and they also will prioritize their life about it. So you don't raise these strong kids by telling them what to do. You raise strong kids by showing them what to do. It's not do as I say. It's like do as I do. Your kids want to eat well. You want them to move well. You want them to have resilience. You got to live that, guys. You know, they don't need another lecture. They need another role model. So, and they need you to be the role model. If not, you can be the anti-hero and they can find someone else to model. And I know you don't want to be the anti-hero to your kids. No one wants that.
You don't want to be the negative example.
Yeah.
Right? You don't want to be the warning. Well, that's just it. You're either an example or you're a warning. And which one do you want to be? Right? Either way, your kids are going to live, hopefully, a better life, but they've got to realize that what you are doing is a warning and not just the way that it always is. And you have a responsibility once you are educated and once you have that initial idea of, fuck, the way that I'm living isn't what I want for my kids. Once you have that realization, it comes with a weight, that weight of responsibility of I then have to change. Otherwise, I'm knowingly impacting my kid's future by continuing to choose the direction that I'm going in. I'm continuing to choose this negative cycle of you know, going to Macca's when things are hard. Like, for example, we had Monday night was it was a late night. We need to get dinner on the table at 5:30. Otherwise, like, it just blows out because Imi is skipping her naps and she has to go down and she gets really cranky. So our oh shit meal, and I firmly want our oh shit meals that I cook to be better than takeaway and better than most people's average meals that they put effort into. And so I was like, oh, normally it'd just be like eggs. I just do like a lazy omelet or something like that. And I was like, oh no. And my wife's like, oh, I don't feel like eggs. So I was like, all right, we'll do like, I'll do shakshuka, right? So I'll just go get a pan. I'm going to crack in some, I've got onion, tomato, like a can of tomatoes. I'll put in some capsicum, fry that off, and then put in the canned tomatoes, make a little hole, crack some eggs into it, put that on toast. It was delicious. It was awesome. It came together in like 20 minutes. This is another skill that you're teaching them. You're teaching them sufficiency. You're teaching them healthy cooking. You're teaching them cooking in general, right? And that doesn't start unless you start as well. And yes, there may be some roles, like obviously your partner may be doing some of the cooking, but in terms of, you know, exploring and thinking about different recipes and different ways of cooking things and different things that you can have, not just, oh, I'm a meat and veg. Dad's only on the barbie. It's the only thing that I know how to cook. It's like, well, fuck, the day that your wife injures herself or, you know, has to go away for some reason and then you're stuck cooking. It's like, well, your kids aren't going to eat steak and potato every night for the rest of their life. It's going to get fucking expensive. Also, they're going to go to Macca's. Like, our fast food, I think Taco Bell recently shut down in WA because it was like the model in America works because it's super fucking cheap. But over here, it's expensive for shittier food. So, like, no one really wants it. It's the same thing. No one's like, oh my God, like, unless you're really drunk, you're not like, oh, I'm really craving just like that Macca's cheeseburger taste. It's like, no, you're craving the convenience of not having to be the one to fucking cook it. A homemade meal beats a takeaway meal every time.
Or you're craving the habit that's reinforced, right? So it's like, oh, no, I really like cheeseburgers. It's like, why? When do you normally have them? maybe it's the habit, and it's just habit stacking the cheeseburger at the end of connecting with someone on doing something. I don't know. It's the same as when I used to go to the movies and I used to eat Maltesers and have an ice cream, right? I was like, oh, I love Maltesers and ice cream. Or did I just love the movies? I don't know. I think it was just the movies, and I just stopped having it. And I have a Coke Zero, and the kids will have some popcorn. And it's like when we start to dissect things, we can start to go, well, do I actually like that food, or is that built into a larger habit? And that was just a cascading habit stack that I created. And can I take it out and not replace it at all, or put something else in that's better? And I think that's a big thing that we have to look at when we're looking at habit stacking. But if you want to raise a disciplined man or a disciplined woman, like, you have to be one first. And I think it comes down to this. Like, you have to be the disciplined person. Oh, my kid doesn't do his homework at night. It's like, well, did you go to the fucking gym when you said you were going to do it? Right? It's the same thing, right? Oh, my kid doesn't clean his room. I was like, I don't know. Well, do you do the things you're going to do? Say you're going to do.
Do you clean your room? Do you tidy up after things? Like,
do you make your bed? I was like no. And when it's hard, like, I think preparation also, right? When we have kids' sports every night of the week. That's the level of life I'm in. I'm ahead of you, Jace. Like, my life is hectic. This is your future. I live in, and there's people living in my future. But I've been through your part, and then at the moment, we literally have 5 nights a week shit on. And then we have Saturdays soccer. So it's like there's swimming, there's multiple soccer days. I coach one day. Jax has soccer. You can have soccer as well, Jace.
I'd like to. Nice, yeah.
Like Wednesday nights, we live rural. So driving Jax into soccer, it's over an hour drive. He's there for an hour and a half, and then just over an hour drive home. So this is like an event when we're taking Jax into soccer because he's playing for a different team this year. Thursday nights, they have gymnastics. That's like an hour drive nearly from where we are as well. They're there for an hour and a half, and they come back. There's futsal on Friday nights. And like every training session is nearly an hour drive and an hour at minimum there. So our nights are hectic. If we're not preparing like what we're doing for dinner, and I'm lucky, like I'm married to someone who truly does look after me, so I am lucky with that. But we do prep stuff on the weekends, right? So whether it be like some beef pot pies, and it's like, okay, we know that Tuesday nights, bang, chuck them in the oven, already done. It literally 15 minutes, 10 minutes, done, all good. Or chuck them in the air fryer. And then the kids can look at it. It's like, okay, well, if they know that time is short, we don't have to go and eat something that's low quality, which isn't going to energize them and it's going to make them feel more sluggish. If they grow up, I just prepare some stuff on the weekend and it helps me out during the week. And it's like you're teaching them so many different things by being a disciplined man or by being a disciplined family, because then they will start to learn this. It's through preparation, it's through habits. And if you want your son or you want your daughter to be the kind of person that shows up and holds themselves to a high standard, who values health, like, you need to show him and you need to show her. Because kids don't need perfect dads. They just need committed ones. They don't need perfect dads. They need committed dads. Committed to being present, committed to health, committed to patience, committed to self-respect, because we lead by example. And I'm not perfect, right? We all have our flaws, guys. I'm not sitting on a high horse over here, right? I told you at the start of the podcast, I got pissed on Saturday night because like alcohol is just not my thing. But because I know it, I do it like once every 2, maybe 3, 4 years, right? Probably is every 4 years. They just need committed dads who lead by example. And I want you to be the man or be the person that you want them to become. And that's how we lead by example. Be the person that you want them to become. And like, you're not just training your body, like you're training your legacy. And I think you have to really sit on that and go, yeah, maybe it's not about losing 20 kilos. Maybe it's about showing up as a dad and showing them how to live a life that I'd be proud that they lived. And that's truly it for this week's podcast, guys, because I want to leave you with that. Is your life a warning sign or an example for your children? And if it is currently a warning sign, remember the hero's journey. You got to rise from somewhere. Just make sure you change your trajectory one habit at a time, one moment at a time, and stack the votes in the favor of the future you. And the future you is your kids as well. So, Jace, any other last thoughts?
Head to fit-dad.club to book in a call, and we can help you have that chat if you're someone who's struggling to make that first jump. But we're here for you. We're in your corner. As Trev said, we're not perfect. we're not on a high horse, but we know that there's at least one aspect of your life that if you change it and we can help you change that aspect in a very, very positive direction, then we know that the rest of it will be a flow-on effect. And it is more than just about dropping the weight.
Yeah, it's about dropping everything around that weight, right? The low confidence, the low energy, the low patience, the example, the low emotions on low frequency. Like, I want you to feel like you are unstoppable, because if you don't feel like it anymore, like, you can feel like it again. And it just starts with one choice. So go to fit-dad.club, book in a call, let's have a chat. And if you don't do that, until next week, that's it for the Fit Dad Club podcast, and we'll talk to you then. See you guys.
Peace out.